This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Circus Maximus for a 5-player FFA in the north as the Cyan Allies. This is Sandman. Heading to the left as the Green Allies. This is Michael. And just south of them as the Orange Empire. This is Pivo. To the right, rounding out our 4th player as the Blue Soviets. This is Dankal. And our final player as the Yellow, also playing Soviets. This is Armageddon. Going for that crane opener. Not something you see very often, but hey, this whole game is going to be things that we don't see very often. Now, one quick note. This game was either sent to me or it popped up on the replays tab on game replays. I don't remember, but this is an old game. This is like 2010 or something. So this is not the community patch. These are not current players. I mean, Dankal, one of the greatest Soviets to ever play the game, but he has not played, I don't know, since 2014 or something like that. And then some other names that I do not recognize: Sandman, Michael, Armageddon, and Pivo. Not sure who these fellows are. Maybe they are all winners. Maybe they are all losers. We will find out. And for all we know, this is pre-Dankal being good, so he might also not perform as we know him in the past. Couple of Tangus going to be able to clean up these Javelin Troopers. Michael trying to do something sneaky with Javelin Troopers since his Harvester is getting slowed down by that burst drone. Conscript will get eliminated. No, he makes it into the building barely. And now the Peacekeepers and the Javelin Trooper are going to have a little bit of a tough time busting him out of there until one of them transforms and goes into the building. This Soviet is turret pushing. Nothing like a classic Tesla coil push brought on by that crane, but also a barracks as well. So this could be flak troopers. This could be engineers popping on out of here with a double bear to guard that barracks of the allied player. And there's actually going to be the cancel of the Tesla coil. Sandman is not out of it, but boy, is he close to out of it. Right in the first couple of minutes of this game, he dropped a multi-gunner turret at his front and then just left it there. I don't think this guy is necessarily the best player we have ever seen touch a mouse and a keyboard. Dankal, on the other hand, just kind of having a good old time, expanding out to the water, expanding over here to the left, getting himself 4 refineries, and an oil derrick and an observation post as well. Maybe even taking control of the middle of the map. Dankal going to be looking to be in a pretty good position, but almost entirely because everyone is leaving him alone. Michael and Pivo kind of fighting each other. Sandman and Armageddon fighting each other. And Dankal is the odd one out in this case. A couple of Tangus going to be circling around Dankal's base, noticing the lack of the MCV, but the decent amount of infrastructure that is here regardless. Sandman has been kind of split up. His MCV is way out here on the water. He's got a oil derrick and a power plant to his name, so he's got a little bit of stuff under his control, but not a whole lot. Dog wins the fight with the bear, so I guess Sandman has that going for him, and he's got this tent here. You can't say much for Sandman, but he does own 1 tent, so that's nice for him. We can all feel good for him, although he's now got a dolphin attacking his conyard, and it looks like his solution is to build a multi-gunner turret because he has literally no other options. He's got no production facilities. He's just going to have to build a multi-gunner turret, and then the dolphins will probably circle around to the other side of the conyard and keep attacking. There's the multi-gunner turret way out there, so actually it's pretty easy for the dolphins to escape. All 3 of them even could potentially get away from that multi-gunner turret. Dankal with a couple of Stingrays going to be pushing away those Tangus. Pivo going to be getting into Tier 2, getting himself some strikers ready to go. And the power plant is actually going to be the next target of Sandman. Of course, if he sells off that multi-gunner turret, then he will have enough electricity to power everything off the conyard, I do believe. But actually, Armageddon going to be showing up, and he says, hey, Sandman is my guy to kick while he's down, not your guy to kick while he's down. So a couple of Twin Blades are going to be chasing away those Dolphins, ending them before they clean up that power plant for themselves. And it looks like Michael going to be taking a little bit of damage on those Apollos. They do narrowly skate by those Striker VXs on the ground, stomping around the map, looking for targets. Michael grabs the oil derrick in the middle of the map while it's also expanding out to the water in 2 different locations. And going to be taking a little bit of harassment from those Twin Blades. Doesn't restart. No, he does restart that Ore Collector pretty much immediately. So very nicely done there. And actually, those Twin Blades going to be flying over that multi-gunner turret, so I guess it did do something in this game, even though it has done virtually nothing up to this point. Dolphin's going to be harassing the one refinery, having the oil derrick taken away from him that Sandman has, so this is pretty much it for Sandman. Something Satellite's perhaps going to be getting called down on this area, or maybe it's just going to be toxins, which won't quite poison that harvester. And what we may have right now is a little bit of an informal agreement between Armageddon and Sandman. Dankal continuing to power up in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, getting himself a battle lab. He's got a super reactor out there. That's 2 super reactors under his control, and he has taken this kind of southeastern corner of the map. Toxin's going to be doing a little bit of damage to that Riptide. And the MCV packs up and heads on out. Akula subs sharking around the map for Dankal, so he's got 2 of them heading north, potentially to eventually meet up with Sandman's MCV. A couple of Stingrays showing up. Armageddon, I guess he doesn't have too much of a truce with Sandman, considering that he's going for the kill on the ore refinery himself. Overcharge from that Stingray is going to do some damage to that Riptide, but it does have that nice repairs from that naval yard. Never mind, it doesn't even matter. The second overcharge is enough. And goodbye, Sandman. If he had the oil derrick, then he could come back. He could go in the corner. He could hide for a little bit. And then eventually he would build up a fantastic army and be able to just like come back with, 100 hydrofoils and 1,000 aircraft carriers off of just that one oil derrick. But it is not meant to be. Lost the oil derrick, and now it's going to be Akula subs versus Akula subs. Armageddon and Dankal going to be going against each other. Dankal going to be calling down satellites on the naval yard. Meanwhile, in the south, Dolphin's going to be harassing his expansion a little bit there, but it's Stingray and an Akula sub to chase away the forces of Dankal. Looks like one Akula sub did go down. A second naval yard going to be going down. And Sandman has been beaten back. Pivo is looking pretty small, but the other 3 players, Armageddon, Michael, and Dankal, are all looking pretty fearsome. Now, don't count Pivo out. I didn't see this nice little group of tsunami tanks and choppers, or strikers rather, in the middle of the map, because these guys, if they find the right moment, if they find the right opportunity, they could do some big damage to one of the other 3 players who's kind of a big shot in this game. All right, guys, keep an eye on Sandman. We've seen it happen a couple of times, but maybe this is one of those games where a player hides away in the corner and then they just get left alone. I say that as Mig goes on a scouting path and discovers that expansion. Armageddon is no fool, it appears. Although, let's take a look over here. Pivo is going to be taking down the airfield of Michael, and he's going to be able to step out onto the water if he cleans up everything on the air. Those 2 Vindicators holding still and letting the Strikers take them down. The Tsunami Tank is going to be turning around and will be able to deal with those Riptides, no problemo. Assault Destroyers are good, but with nice control, it'll be easy for Pivo to avoid that. One Tsunami Tank gets crushed, and it looks like Armageddon did completely clean up Sandman, so no sneaky comebacks are happening for Sandman. He is out of this game pretty darn early. Armageddon, on the other hand, looking pretty good as one of the Soviet players. Dankal looking pretty good as another Soviet player. And Michael honestly looking good out on the water, not so much on the land. But Pivo himself, I mean, he's just got these 2 refineries. He's got this one army, but if it comes to trying to replenish this army against potential, I don't know, artillery or something from Michael really doesn't have all that much. I guess Michael has spent a little bit too much cash harassing Sandman and Dankal to have a lot of strength left in himself. He's got 2 lovely multi-gunner turrets. Maybe if he sold one of those off, he would get the other one online to be able to try and do something against these Strikers. But Pivo is going to be turning around, flying through the middle of the map and taking a little bit of latent damage there from those. Ooh, nice clear there by Dankal. Taking a little bit of damage from those Javelin Troopers. This is a lot of Akula subs, 5 or 6 Akula subs going to be heading out to Dankal's base, and Dankal has just moved almost the entirety of his army, so many stingrays, so many bullfrogs, to the west, a little bit further away from the incoming army from Armageddon. Big ultra torpedo wave potentially coming in here as he's looking to seal the deal and clean up that super reactor. Nice body blocks there. I think the sentry gun may have actually absorbed a lot of those torpedoes there, and now the stingrays are just going to be potentially completely overwhelming the Akula subs as they are looking to find their mark, but they're literally getting blocked by power plants, and this is fantastic from Dankal, but it's not enough as the stingrays all go down. Even the harvester getting eliminated, it looks like. Meanwhile, out on the water, Pivo with a couple of these tsunami tanks going to be able to potentially shut down the production and the economy of Michael. And Michael, as our allied player, needs to get himself under control. Sandman is out of the game, so it's up to Michael to represent allies, not be kicked around by some Empire player. You gotta bust out those cryo units. There we go. Now we're talking. 1 dolphin and an army of hydrofoils to defeat tanks. That is an allied force if I have ever seen one. Even a multi-gunner turret going to be getting whack-a-mole down there to just help deal more damage to these tsunami tanks. Dankal holds off the Akula subs, but it's stingrays now on the field for Armageddon. Or perhaps on the seas would be a better term. Stingrays get pushed back. Armageddon, he's got these little pockets of attacks, and they look powerful, and then Dankal just destroys them. Definitely getting the win by killing off that super reactor and eliminating most of the army of Dankal. But Dankal is back with a little bit of force, a couple of dreadnoughts, some decent stingrays, and bullfrogs somewhere. I think they may have actually gone to the middle of the map. They're going to be killing off at least one twin blade as satellites clean up the hammer tank. I'm not actually sure who that satellite drop benefited more, because Dankal gets to get back to work, get back to harvesting. And he's going to find himself okay with one harvester still working, even if it's low health, unless he's pulled it completely off the line. Toxins getting dropped, and Dankal reforming the front line over there to the right. There we go. We finally got an aircraft carrier out on the map, and Pivo being forced to the middle of the map. That is what we wanted to see out of Michael. Some delightful aircraft carrier action. Pivo, again, has a little bit of strength out on the land, but Michael doesn't care because his strength lies in the water. He's even re-expanded to his original main base on land. Dreadnoughts pumping out missiles. A super reactor for a super reactor, says Dankal. I am going to get the kill on your power plant, and the stingray is going to be coming in. Can Dankal hold the line? There's the sell-off, so no big explosion, and it's going to be mass stingray, but that was an overcharge on overcharges from Armageddon. I think he may have used his ability a little bit too far out, but he will get the surround and the kill on that dreadnought. Even a little bit of cash back, and the mass stingray is not something we see very often, but we are seeing it here. Dankal taking good control over the middle of the map, even going to be getting out his own V4s on land. It's mass stingray versus mass stingray. The overcharges will be plentiful as 2 in the back line just firing off for no reason at all, as you got to use that all army unit or all army hotkey and then just slap that F. Airfield under fire. Dankal may find himself a free kill utilizing that V4 and just the distraction of all of those stingrays. Nope, the V4 doesn't quite get the kill, but the conscript will go down. The aircraft carriers, having finished most of what Pivo had on land, have now turned their attention to Dankal with his 3rd super reactor placement over here, which maybe is his 4th or his 5th overall in the whole game. But a lovely placement of that super reactor. The stingray masses are coming out, and this is how you deal with hydrofoils. But that is not enough of a cryo blast to lock down all of these stingrays. The EMP is enough, though. So many hydrofoils and riptides getting caught in the mess as well. And there's not enough aircraft drones to finish off all of these stingrays. Some of them will come back online, but will it be enough? The hydrofoils using their weapons jammers to make this a little bit more difficult, but the aircraft carriers splitting up. Can Michael clean up the stingrays? He's getting some good damage off, but 1 aircraft carrier goes down, the other 2 on the run. The hydrofoils not able to weapons jam nearly enough, and the riptides just getting slaughtered. Dankal on the chase will be able to clean up that aircraft carrier And basically, in a bit of a 2v1, he is going to be losing that V4 to that terror drone. Pivo completely into the center of the map, rebuilding everything. The nanotech mainframe even getting back up to tier 2, it looks like, maybe even up to tier 3, and maybe we'll even get to see him utilize some super weapons. Maybe not. A couple of Imperial Warriors going to be charging that building, clearing it out. No more Javelin Troopers there. And once again, Armageddon rebuilding his mass Stingray army. Triple naval yard production. I don't know if he really has the economy to warrant that, but it looks like he's got at least 2 of them cranking pretty regularly. Well, I say that and he just loses. He runs out of cash, so he can't actually produce consistently from them. Bullfrogs getting one-shotted almost by this group of dolphins. Nicely done there by Michael, but can he actually escape? These Stingrays are going to be able to clean up a couple of these dolphins. There's the big jump, and there's the turnaround as they go for the attack, but a couple of the Stingrays close enough to clean up those dolphins, and that assault destroyer will absorb a lot of DPS, but not nearly enough to stop the mass Stingray attack from Dankal. Closing the distance on the multi-gunner turrets, and the army of power plants could be the next target for Dankal once he breaks through this front line. Still more Stingrays coming in on the reinforcement path as his MCV even gets caught up on some of them way back near his, I guess, natural expansion out there on the water. Stingrays cleaning up the naval yard, cleaning up the Dolphin. A second naval yard won't quite be able to produce enough units to stop these Stingrays. And is this another big overcharge about to fire off? No, there's a fire sale coming out from Michael. Mass sell-off of all of his buildings out on the water in that section. He's going to try and pull something out as Dankal now has to deal with Stingrays on land as these V4s trying to hold the line with walls as well. Hey, if you got the walls, you might as well use them. Stingray's taking some nice damage from those V4s, and the Terror Drone, can he actually get a multi-kill with this Terror Drone from one Stingray to another? If Armageddon isn't careful, no. Armageddon gets the kill. What will Dankal do to try and deal with this army? He's got great forces out on the water, way over there on the west side of the map, but here on the east side, he loses his war factory, and for now, Pivo is happy to watch this all from a kind of back foot position. He's just hanging out. He's watching things from a distance. He's happy to not engage, at least for a little while. Strikers circling around once again. Unfortunately, we don't have a chat replay, so we could actually be seeing what these guys are saying. They could be making informal agreements. They could be saying, hey, Dankal is too strong. Everybody get him, because Pivo has now turned his sights on Dankal, and Dankal is going to be getting hit both on the land, on the sea, and in the air. As he's got a couple of bullfrogs here, but they're going to get jumped on by those strikers. Good trade by Dankal, but it's overwhelming numbers for Pivo, and Pivo is actually going to run. He's not going to try and engage with those further bullfrogs, although I thought a lot more of those dots were going to be bullfrogs. They're all Stingrays and dreadnoughts. Only 2 of them are actually bullfrogs, as Dankal has actually lost electricity. He's in that low power mode. Stingrays starting to overwhelm, and there's the mass overcharge from Armageddon. He's just trying to clear the seas. Dankal has so many dreadnoughts, but they're actually busting through. The sheer numbers of Armageddon aren't enough. The superior firepower of Dankal reigns supreme, and now it's just a couple of bullfrogs here on the right side. The overcharge is good enough to sink one more dreadnought from Dankal. Pivo continues to be unanswered in the middle of the map, using strikers to kill off Tesla troopers, which is pretty funny to watch considering how little damage they actually do. And now they'll be able to turn their sights on that refinery and clear it up. Looks like a flak cannon maybe trying to go down there. No, it's actually a reactor, as Dankal is looking to maintain a little bit of build radius in that section, rebuild his refinery, and get this ore node back online. Michael getting a chance to rebuild. He had to mass sell off here, and that was a great move considering he would have just lost it all anyways. So we got a good cash influx, and then lucky for Michael, Dankal had to turn all of his forces around. He had to defend out on the water against Armageddon, and that has bought Michael some precious time. He's still on that low power mode. We see him refusing to sell off those multi-gunner turrets. And he's got a couple of refineries under his control, an oil derrick or 2 as well. 4 or 5 refineries. He's actually got pretty good income. Wait. Oh, I didn't actually realize. Does he have no MCV? I think he's got no MCV. I mean, you could sell off a couple of these multi-gunner turrets. Come on, dude. Get an MCV out. Sell off some of those command hubs as well. Get yourself back in this game. Get an MCV. At least get some cryo shots off out on the map. Utilize those support powers and, you know, make something of yourself. The big tent in the middle of the map may eventually get cleaned out by Pivo. Dankal expanding here to the bottom left corner, retaking some of these other expansions that he's managed to hold on to. Oh, I guess he was cleaning out a wall. I was like, that's a little bit of friendly fire going on. Is that a... That is a genuine bullfrog. I just saw it kind of in a weird spot, and I thought it might have been a tricky unit one way or another. I guess it's not moving fast enough to be a sudden transport, but it could have been the Harvester getting in on the action. 2 Harvesters to the front line. The Stingrays will absolutely shred them. Their honorable discharge being utilized to clean up a couple of the Stingrays, which is nice. But actually, the Tsunami Tank's going to be able to clean up the last couple of Stingrays, and Dankal, overconfident in his ability. Those honorable discharges are difficult to stop, but also the Tsunami Tank's going fully heroic, just shoots so incredibly quickly. Dankal retreating back out onto the water. 3 super reactors in a tight cluster, a 4th there. He did not rebuild the one on the land, but I guess you need all of those super reactors to power all of these refineries, all of these static defenses, and I guess this is the best spot for those super reactors. Might actually be worth building a little wall of, like, power plants just to body block against Akula subs if your opponent tries to go for that. Armageddon, still with the triple naval yard. I don't know if he's constantly producing from them all the time, but at this moment he is pumping out dreadnoughts, stingrays, and maybe even bullfrogs. He's got 4 bullfrogs. That's a good point. I just realized that we have seen very few twin blades in this game. For a game with a couple of Soviet players, there's a lot of bullfrogs, not a lot of twin blades in this match. And Tesla Troopers, well, they're here. They're going to get a kill on a couple of units perhaps here. They might even go for the lockdown there, as no, the Tsunami Tanks are going to turn and run. They're going to activate that speed boost, and this is so many bullfrogs. That is so many strikers just going down, and now the Tesla Troopers somewhat unanswered since these strikers are now on the ground. And they're going to have to turn tail and run. There we go. Michael getting in on the action. A couple of cryo uses, at least, you know, like Cryogeddon or something to seal off that battle lab and destroy it. The MCV, on the other hand, coming on to land. Michael, well, he's rebuilt his MCV. He's kind of got himself back in this game a little bit here. Riptide's going to be harassing this expansion, wants to try and go for the Tesla coil. Nice body blocks coming out here from Michael, utilizing that crane build queue, but it may not actually matter with the Tesla coil getting locked down by that weapons jammer. And oh, come on, Pivo. Not paying attention. They're taking some damage from those toxins. The satellite, a bit of a miss there. I'm not sure what he was going for. Perhaps the army he thought the army would pull further north or something. Refinery gets cleaned up. Michael now going to be cutting over to the east side of the map. And he might actually be that refinery. That's not taking too much damage. He might actually be coming over here, and he might unload on the Wrath of Armageddon might unload onto him. Dankal, if he sees this happening, maybe he'll be able to take advantage of the opportunity, but I don't think Dankal has any vision this far north. This is a lot of Stingrays. Armageddon is thinking, I might be able to take this guy. I might be able to kill him off right here, right now. Striker VX is going to be cleaning up another ore refinery. Dankal has reestablished himself a bit, and the Tsunami Tanks are a little too far away to stop those bullfrogs. As Baby Burt says hello, he wants to get in on this Circus Maximus action. Tsunami Tank's going to be clearing up that refinery, but it's an army of Tesla Troopers that are moving in as the Dreadnoughts provide some kind of support. Too little, too late. In the north, Armageddon with the army of Stingrays. This is not enough hydrofoils. This is not enough allies. Might this be it for Michael? He may have unloaded the Wrath of Armageddon upon himself and earned a defeat in this game. Pivo, hanging out in the middle of the map, may actually survive longer than Michael, even though for much of the game, Michael had a more significant presence on this map. Harvester gets the kill on the conscript. Always love to see Harvesters being heroic, killing off units, doing what they can. Refinery going to be getting cleaned up. The Harvester goes down. Armageddon swings to the south, and he may go on to the land to finish off Michael once and for all. I think Michael has, like, no production facilities left, so he's got income. You know, 3 refineries, 2 oil derricks, so decent income, but Cryogeddon firing off. Armageddon does manage to escape, losing only perhaps 1 Stingray to this Cryogeddon. That might actually be a record. 1 Stingray. And it's not actually going to... Nothing's actually going to happen with it. Into the middle of the map goes Michael. I guess not quite the middle of the map. Tesla troopers charging forward. They're able to clean up the tank buster lines. The Bears as well getting in on the action. And Dankal with his Tesla troopers. This guy actually utilizing Tesla troopers. Almost sacrifices them. Gives away a bear. Turns it into a pile of goo there. As the King Oni's strutting around the circus tent. But not quite committing to any attack. The Stingrays cleaning up the buildings. Hammer tanks on the high ground, going to be eliminating this refinery in the north. Michael getting choked out of this game as his losing his grasp on this match. The MCV deploys for Michael. Oh yeah, that's his second MCV. I was like, I would have sworn that he had tier 3, but of course he's down to his second MCV, so rebuilding up to that tier 2 tech, but not being able to do very much with it. Tesla Troopers going to be pushing forward. An APOC tank going to be hanging on to that King Oni, and the Tsunami tank's going to try and clear on the back end. Those bullfrogs do manage to escape. The Tesla Troopers trying to close the distance, but the Tsunami tank's just circling around, trying to get to the bullfrogs, perhaps so something else can come in for our Empire player and do something, but it's not meant to be. This is too much Tesla firepower. The Tsunami tanks try to close the distance, and it's just a bad idea. Pivo, even with the hospital, the garage, and what is it over here? Is it an oil derrick that's over here? I think it is, but I think Michael grabbed it earlier in this game, and then he lost it. The Tier 3 goes down. Armageddon and Dankal, both Soviet players, descending upon Pivo, forcing him to sell off structure after structure. King Oni gets a kill on the APOC tank, but now it's going to be all of these Tesla Troopers, which actually none of them go into the lockdown mode, so actually the King Oni is able to do some kind of dance around them. And eventually, oh my gosh, this Harvester is killing so many Tesla Troopers, and this King Oni dance is actually working. Oh my gosh, a fully heroic Harvester killing off so many Tesla Troopers, and now he's going to turn his sights on the Tesla Troopers that are cleaning up the Mecha Bay. Even the King Oni helping out what little he can against the Tesla Troopers as the heroic Harvester blasts down trooper after trooper. This guy is a pro, but he's about to get ground to dust. One last heroic kill as he puts out so much damage against these heroic APOCs. And no, it's not meant to be. Pivo winning the battle perhaps of hearts and minds, but losing it in reality. Mass Stingray overcharge, dreadnoughts on both sides as Dankal presses further to the north. Huge overcharge clears up some of Dankal's Stingrays, and the dreadnoughts are missing their marks on the side of Armageddon. Dankal winning a couple of battles here and there, but does he have the strength to press on forward? He's got a couple of Stingrays left. They're closing the distance with the dreadnoughts, and once again just driving past the missiles of Armageddon. He doesn't care about getting too close to the enemy. He's happy to dodge and run, surrounding his opponent's Stingrays one at a time as his own dreadnoughts close the distance with an army of bullfrogs to back them up. Dankal pushing up the west side of the map. Michael looking for any kind of a foothold, any kind of a placement on this map. Armageddon falling to pieces. Dankal maintaining incredible strength, but he hasn't won yet. Cryogeddon gets called in. Apocalypse tanks are a little bit too slow. The Javelin soldiers are going to get the kill on this War Factory, maybe even the APOC tank as well. What does the... No, the Cryogeddon didn't actually get it. The War Factory survives, the APOC tank survives, and he's going for the world's slowest crush as a couple of Stingrays press on forward, and the Dreadnoughts just fire missiles willy-nilly, kind of accidentally, getting one of their own units, but also one of their opponent's units, as mass Dreadnought verse the forces of Armageddon, a single Dreadnought. It's not meant to be. One of the most incredible fleets to ever exist in Red Alert 3 as the mass sell-off. He leaves the super reactor so we can all enjoy the explosion as it goes up in a big fiery cloud of death. Michael has been defeated. Pivo is still in this game with an MCV all the way out there in the corner. He's going for second place, but only on a sort of technicality. Although maybe he has a lot of cash in the bank and I just don't know it, so, you know, he could build like... If he has like 40,000 credits, he could, you know, build a naval yard, get out a decent amount of units, and then try and win that way. But it's going to be hard to overwhelm Dankal's forces. His Armageddon is hanging on by a thread. Dankal in pretty good control for most of this game. Everyone tried to give him a run for his money, and even now Armageddon going to be cutting through the middle of the map. He can't do much once he cleans up the stuff on land. Well, and even an APOC tank here will be able to stop potentially all of these hammer tanks. But yeah, hammer tanks don't swim, so even if Armageddon cleaned up everything on land, he would have a really hard time getting way out here onto the water. And Dankal turning north will be able to quickly end everything that Armageddon has. I mean, these Dreadnought numbers are just incredible. So many Dreadnought missiles coming from every direction. Sort of a definition of overkill, if you will. I love this from Armageddon. Look at this. He's trying to micro his tanks. He's trying to use some kind of tactic, utilizing the weaker rear armor on the APOC tank to try and get a win. And he will actually get the kill on that APOC tank. It won't be worth much of anything, as a fully heroic terror drone does manage to escape. And we are now in the stage of the game where we're kind of in the time-wasting stage. We've got 5 tank busters. Again, they can't swim, so, like, what are they gonna do? Dankal has all but won the game. Goodbye, Dojo. Okay, Armageddon is not going to waste our time too much. He has been defeated. And these Twin Blades are going to clean up all of these tank busters. And into the corner of the map? Into the corner of the map goes Dankal? Maybe? No, don't turn south. No, Dankal, look into the corner. No. We're gonna be here until Pivo sells off or something. Look, I got a kid who's not even 2 years old, and he's bored by what Pivo is doing right now. He's got a burst drone and an Imperial Warrior running around through the middle of the... Dankal has, like, the greatest Soviet Navy that has ever been constructed in the, like, 200 years of this game. And now he turns... Everything turns at once and heads north. Just this unbelievable armada of Dreadnoughts closing in. Even Satellite's going to be getting called in. And wait, what? Oh my gosh, he's got a power plant over here. I wasn't... Pivo has been defeated as just an unbelievable amount of firepower is unleashed, but that will do it for this 5-player FFA. Dankal takes it with some overwhelming Soviet firepower. I mean, that is truly Soviet power supreme as Dankal cleans up that game. 300,000 credits to his name. Poor Sandman getting absolutely bullied from the very beginning, only collecting 7,000 credits. And that will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert, signing out.